Kirk Franklin is on. So
that was sold.
Yeah, the spinning wheel just drives me nuts.
But we're live again, and so what we're here. We pretty much wrapped up the lesson for today about specs and laws or beams, and about being judgmental. And so if you just can recap, he's not saying don't judge people at all, but we are to judge with righteous judgment. In other words, we can't just judge based on appearances or flesh, basically what we think about someone when we don't have all the facts and the evidence. And we're not to even deal with judging people who are outside of the body of Christ, but within the body of Christ. When it comes to issues of sin, like in Galatians, when it says, if a brother be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one, considering yourselves, lest ye also be tempted. And it goes back to what Jesus said, and it is the 5th verse. He says, thou hypocrite. Remember, the hypocrites, they are the congregation now. I'm not talking to the leadership, I'm talking to you. It says, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. In other words, it's possible for you to really pass righteous judgment on someone. But the first thing you have to do is make sure that you're straight. You can't go telling somebody else about the irresponsible relationship they have with someone when you yourself are with. You can't talk to the young people about all the stuff that they're doing at the movie theaters or whatever when you're doing that same stuff on your days off. And so, it's obvious to everybody. So take care of that issue, and it may take some time for somebody to take care of that. But once it's obvious that that's no longer an issue in your life, now it's easy for me to receive that from you, because you're addressing an issue of sin in my life, and I can, because I respect you, because I see your life before me, your conversation, so it makes sense. So same sense, and ye which are spiritual, restore such a one. All right, the spiritual ones are the ones who are going to be respected and are going to be heard, and they're generally the ones that don't talk the most.
Wow.
And so it's the same way with the person who has that big log in their eye. They're probably the people that are talking the most, like they know it all.
True.
And so that's just it right there about being judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Don't go around just nitpicking at something. And so I know you got some stories about nitpicky people.
Oh, just a few. Just maybe one or two,
One or two.
I've never had, growing up in the church, I realized the other day I have been in church for about 45 years.
All of your life.
All of my life. And even before I was born, I was in church. That's pictures of my mom. I was in church all my life. So I have a few stories about people who, I don't know if they think they're being helpful. I don't know what their motive is, but they have found it their mission in life to come and find me, whether it's across a crowded church or something, and tell me, you've got something on your skirt, or you've got, like one lady told me, you forgot to wear your earrings today. So
really,
it's like that. I mean, I don't know if men are as judgmental with men, but women, for some reason, and like we were talking about the suit that I had, I loved this suit. It was white and it had these lace
I remember that suit
embellishments around it. I only wore it once. And people would come that Sunday and they would say, "Oh, your slip is hanging." I didn't slip, but the slip was hanging, and I would say, and they're like, "No, it's the lace underneath, the little border, I guess you'd say, around the skirt." So I was about the fourth person that came to me up that Sunday and told me my slip was hanging. I showed her on my jacket. I said, "No, this is my, lace fringe around my skirt." My thing is, she's like, "Oh, well, excuse me." I mean, she was hot. Like, I had just cussed her. I was like, what? You want me to just run out of here crying and just, "Oh, thank you so much"? No, and
she was just trying to help you be a good preacher's wife.
So
I'm not your typical preacher.
There you go. I'm not your typical preacher's wife either.
We're atypical.
So
that's the right word.
It's been a lot of judgment in the church, and I think a lot of that judgment, especially about superficial stuff like how your hair is and what kind of earrings you got on, that has been what has run people out of the church. And I was was telling him earlier about people who will say now they've gotten dogmatic about it, and I will not step foot in the church. I will not step foot in the Baptist church. I will not step foot. And usually if you break it down, it's because somebody got to them.
Yep.
And just broke them down like that. And they, I talk to people even at Build Ministries on Sundays and then say, I'm trying to get my so-and-so to come. I'm trying to get my sister to come. I'm trying to get, but she's just been so hurt by the church. She's been so burned by people saying things to her that even a church that's healthy, even a church that's good, even a church that nobody's going to, talk about what you got on or that you had that on last week or didn't you wear those shoes with that purse? Nobody's going to notice or remember none of that mess, but they still feel the word church still burns them.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they need some kind of a haven or a safe place to come just so they can get out of the burn ward and into a healthy,
maybe that's why if they church that's completely opposite of the church that they grew up in. I grew up in a black church with a lot of old women who wore hats. So I'm going to a church with a bunch of white people who wear flip-flops. It's just like that because they know nothing about me, my past, my history, or my family. They're not coming on my side of town. So this is good.
Yeah, it's a lot. And when you start to peel back the layers of how people they don't feel like that when it comes to grocery stores or banks or I went to the bank and the line was wrapped around and I'll never say, well, I'll never go to that bank again, because they only had one teller and 50 people. I don't understand why
I'll keep going and dealing with it.
You just gonna go. You go to a grocery store and they got 2 cashiers open and the line again is going down. And you don't say, I'm never gonna step foot in that store again. But a lot of people have taken that stance in the church because they just can't get over the hurt. And they won't even allow themselves to come and see if there is something better or something different out there. They just stay out where they are. So, that's my prayer is for people. I meet people that live around here, our neighbors, and they rather go play golf or go bowling or something.
Walk or sit by the pool.
Walk their dogs and stuff. You mentioned the word church or that you're a pastor or something. Boy, it's like 4th of July. Fireworks just start going off everywhere because they've had a bad experience and cannot get over it.
And it could be because of judgmental people.
It can always be. It could be a lot of things. But I think if you ask them that's the thing that they feel the strongest about. A lot of pastors have been hurt. A lot of pastors' wives have been hurt. Just that constant. And that kind of probably goes back to something you said too about the tongue and how people cannot control their tongues. But if they could start to practice
James, chapter 1, chapter 2.
Yeah, just start practicing controlling your tongue.
Be spoken.
Everything that comes to your mind. It's no good. Let it go. Just if you see somebody got a speck on their shirt. Well, I used to say, and I used to really get people, if they would see something on my outfit and they would come to take it off, I said, no. I paid extra for that. Leave it. And then they would be like, yeah, she crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy. You just say stuff to bring people's attention to being obnoxious because you're touching me without my permission and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's what you need to see. Everybody not cool with that. So don't just come up and start don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to anybody else. Just let them have the little lint that's on their shirt and they'll be fine.
That's it.
So a lot of people, just when you see people, look at them and look at them with the eyes of Christ that
are here
and they're in your path, and some of them may be hurting because of some people who forgot to take the beam out of their eye before they went after the speck in their eye. So be mindful of that. And thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching through all the technical stuff today.
We made it through today, and thank you for hanging with us, everybody. Thank you for just viewing, supporting,
watching
everything that you do. Our prayer that from these lessons you learn something so that you can live better. for God's glory, his sake, and his kingdom. All right, we're out because we're headed to the pool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going with you.
What?
I want to check it out too.
Oh my goodness.
So let's end this thing.
He's going to the pool. Nobody wants to go to the pool with me.
Yeah, we